you do like an intro or anything like that?
Hey, hey, good afternoon. Here we are again, Pink Table Talk, and I'm Pina. Irina Pinkusevich, too long. I don't know if there's anybody who doesn't know Groomhouse or me, but it's me, Pina, and today I have a really dear friend of mine from England, Colin Taylor. We know each other for a shit long. I
Times.
think we met in 2009, correct? At the World Competition in
I
Germany?
think so. Yeah, I think it was, and I thought they may have hired like a Circus Soleil act or something. I'm like, oh, they have little people here, and I'm like, wow, that's cool. That's
No,
diverse.
no, no, you're being nice. Let me be honest and tell the truth.
Okay.
Okay? After we met and laughed, and even though you were our judge, and I was not supposed to be that friendly with you, but we still did have lunch and laughed. My friend Michael Lem, who's a miniature poodle breeder that I co-breed with, was with us, and we had a great time. And then I came home, and there's a Facebook post, and Facebook just started. Remember, it was 2009. It was just really new and exciting and everything. And somebody said something, and Colin puts down on Facebook, well, I really, really liked her. I'm really glad I met her, which is very strange because normally I am afraid of midgets.
God, that's probably terrible to say, isn't it? It's so bad,
It
so bad.
probably is, but it was a joke and it was on Facebook, so I mean, people saw it.
They didn't ban me for 24 hours, so it couldn't have been that bad.
Yeah, no, it was 2009. They didn't ban
Exactly.
people then.
Exactly. And you know what? I mean, it was amazing because I've known, Zoe Duffy in England. She's very, very tiny too. And you're tiny. And obviously, what amazes me is when I watch you work with these little tiny hands and you scissor this massive dog. And I'm like, how does she do it? That's just crazy. Craziness. So, yeah, I think that was our first introduction. It was very
Yes, it
cool.
was. Yeah. And ever since, it was nothing but friendship and fun. So, of course, I had to get you on here. And at least I could see your face.
I know, I know. Well,
You
that's
had
why I
your hair
said because
did.
I did my hair because I worked today. I did a full day work at a college doing a seminar. I came home and as I walked in the door, Coleman had this roast dinner waiting for me, and I said that's good. So I get to eat, and then I got to talk to Pina after. So it was a really good day. But so obviously today I got to talk. So I'm lucky because my hair was already ready for you.
It looks
So
really
that's good.
pretty.
Thank you.
So let's start from the beginning of our relationship, which has everything to do with what we do in life. So you
Mhm.
were judging me, and I was a competitor for United States team. You weren't actually judging me personally, but part of our team, Scissored and
Yeah.
Poodles, I believe, right? And so you still judge.
Okay. Was that in Germany?
It was in Germany. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So when that was in Dachau because we went to the German war camp. I remember that, and I was judging. I judged Veronica Frosch, and yes, and I still judge to this day, and I absolutely love it, and I learn every single time I do it too, which I really enjoy.
Tell me more. Tell me why, more reasons on why you like judging so much.
Well, first of all, okay, so if we even go back to Germany, that kind of time, the styles have progressed and changed. I love judging internationally because there is so much of a difference between, let's take poodles for instance. In Europe, they're very, very extreme. In America, they are extreme, but not as extreme. And in England, we're very kind of roundy and gentle. So I've always liked that in between way of doing things where it's not over extreme and it's not too safe, as I call it. But I love the way you look at different countries and see the way they put out their work, and because obviously there are differences even within the spaniels, where in Europe they do a real tight jacket, where in England we do a more natural jacket, and once again in America it's that in between. So I enjoy it because it keeps me on my toes of forcing me to learn, because if I don't, I'm only going to make the wrong decision in a competition and place the wrong dog in the placement. So I like to think of it, and I still wish there was more judging education out there. And I love conferring. I don't understand. I know some shows don't allow conferring, which is pointless, because how are we supposed to learn as judges if I'm judging a breed and there's a spaniel specialist there and I want to learn from that person also? So yeah, I think it's amazing how far we've come over the years. Even Liz Paul, for instance, use her as an example. You know what? And it went from there to how the Bichon has changed over the years and years and years, to how you and Lindsay now turn out Bichons, and Melanie Newman. You know, it's different. And Poodles, how years ago it was more retro, now it's more German trims and obviously the Continental and stuff. So I love it. And I love also, my biggest love of competition is seeing somebody else's dream come to life, seeing them win, seeing people accomplish. And that really is it's amazing.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Learning by judging is one of the most exciting things for me when I judge. Also, for example, I judged a few years in Las Vegas, and I DQ'd the whole class. Nobody got a placement. And then I had to go and explain it in the microphone publicly why I did that and what happened. Well, I consulted first. It was okay, as per rules, to disqualify people for certain things. And my whole class wore those things. And it was maths, pretty much.
Yeah, and that takes balls doing that.
Oh, I have balls. Everybody knows that. But it's not that I have balls. I think it has to be done to better the quality, to better the education, to better the outlook of a competitor in general. So if you were allowed to compete and place, and then take that plaque or whatever you got for your placement, put it on the wall in your salon, and tell people you are a award-winning groomer, where you had a dog on your table full of mats, that shouldn't be done, period. If we're here for the industry, for bettering the education, for making those groomers skills higher and higher, this is how it's supposed to go. I'm still learning. I just took a lesson, what was it? Thursday, myself, from Michelle Evans on how to groom a legato Romagnolo head properly. And there's still so much more I want to learn, that nobody has to stop. This is what we're there for, to share our knowledge with people who has a little bit less knowledge than us, and compete and go out there. So, but what I'm saying, my story is, when I DQ'd the whole class, I had to go and say something in the microphone in Las Vegas that the whole Mandalay freaking Bay Convention Center has to hear it, right? And of course, people on internet, live stream. And I said into the mic, there was 8 or 9 people that was in class, all matted, all Bichons, all disqualified. I said, well, I am right here for you guys, and I can spend as much time as you want me to going over your dog, kind of pointing where the problem was, talking about how I think you could eliminate the problem next time. What products to use, how to prep the coat, which is what was the problem, prepping,
Hmm.
and all of that.
Yeah.
So out of 9, I only had 1 come talk to me. And
Yeah.
we spent, I don't remember exactly, but definitely over an hour talking about the dog, looking at the dog, touching, combing, products, what kind of coat, how to deal with that, all those questions, right? Next year, this girl with this Bichon was best groomed dog in show.
Wow, that's amazing. Amazing.
That's what keeps me going. Actually, sometimes that's part of it. Because lots of times there's some bullshit going on in the grooming competition ring. Do you agree with me? Oh, he's frozen. Colin. He's frozen. Okay.
Do you think the legato will ever be competitive?
Is Colin back or no? No.
No, it was a question for you.
Oh, I see. Hey, Liz. How are you? Yes, I wish it will be. It's a very cool, very detailed haircut. It's a rustic coat, which is definitely competitive if we know how to do it. And I am kind of into rustic coats lately. I'm into pumis. Now, I really got an amazing lesson from Michelle on legatos because she's grooming #1 legato in the country, owner handled. So she does an amazing job on that dog, and I'm sure every other legato. So I'm extremely excited that I was able to get a private lesson on something. That is amazing. So did you hear me,
Can I just
Colin?
stop you a minute?
Yeah.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you. And I can
Okay,
hear
because
you.
I lost connection and I was laughing so hard because you were talking, but you were going, and you sound like you were talking. It sounded like you were talking whale. I was dying. Oh, sorry about that. So I
That's
missed that
okay.
whole thing. So you went for a lesson.
Oh, you didn't hear the thing about me disqualifying the dogs?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
that, and I heard about the girl going next year for best in show, and
Yeah.
then I missed a lot. So I guess you went to Michelle's to do a lesson on on the legato.
Yes, and then we had a question from one of the groomers in Philadelphia area, Liz Signs. She asked if we think that legato is ever going to be competitive in the competition ring.
Absolutely, I placed the legato first in open um, at the grooming show in January.
Oh,
So,
that's
and
awesome.
I've seen different, it's because the actual head of the legato, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people would say it doesn't look trimmed enough or it's too messy or whatever like that. I've seen many people do them differently. I've seen a lady in Belgium. I think she was at that time like 78 years old and she groomed a legato. So, but she didn't spray it down or make it look wet at all. It was very, very scissored up, pretty, beautifully pretty. But like I said, I find probably like you, I find breeds which are or rarer breeds more interesting these days because yes, I do believe a legato could continuously do well in the competition ring. I mean, for heaven's sake, we placed the Sheltie first place in Canada, didn't we? Which was beautifully done.
Yep,
So,
yep.
yeah, so why not? Why not?
Exactly. Well, each breed, listen, I used to groom some show Rottweilers and Doberman Pinschers. There's a lot of work there. I'm not saying
Oh
we can
yeah.
put them in the competition ring. No, but there's a lot of work when you get those dogs ready for the ring. There's clippers, there's hinge stripping, there's thinning shears, there's lots of things to do. So, and I just said when you left me, actually, bye, Colin.
Oh, it's funny. Go ahead. Yeah.
I said, I wish they were competitive. I also wish Pumis were competitive. I'm into Pumis right now, right? In particular.
Uh-huh.
So I'm learning more and more and more and more always about how much work it takes, how much preparation it takes, how each color is different texture, how you have to hand strip Pumis, how
Yeah.
it's so much to learn. I think they're the cutest whimsicals in the world, and I think they should be in the ring. It's just me. What do you think?
Absolutely. You know what? I have a pummy that comes to see me every year at Crufts Dog Show, and the lady is lovely. And I always say to her, I wish I could get one, but if I got one, I feel like I would have to make them more stylized than what they do in the UK. Because in the UK, I mean, some of them, I'm like, God, that looks like it needs a good bath. And I understand they're not supposed to be stretched out to the max, but sometimes I think there's that happy medium of looking natural and still looking clean and have some shape to them. Because I think they're stunning dog, and you're right, they are so cute. And there's a very good picture of me and a pummy from the World Dog Show in Amsterdam. I fell in love with this dog. And when you looked at it, you would even say, is that a cockapoo with big ears or a Kerry Blue with big ears or whatever, or fluffy ears? They're just adorable. And you know what? I think maybe there's room for a class of the competitions where we can take
Rustic
rare breeds
coats?
in.
Yeah, I wish there was a
Yeah.
maybe we can come up with a class. Hey. Okay,
Yeah.
we got a question.
There's a comment.
Huh?
There's a question. There's a comment just from Lindsay that.
Oh, it's a comment from Lindsay. I love that rustic coats are getting more attention. Yes, me too. Me too.
A lot of people are saying that with the matting you were talking about, it's a lot of borrowed dogs.
Uh-huh.
And so, like, there's like excuses popping up that if you're borrowing a dog and they come to you matted, like, what can you really do? And others are like, that's not an excuse, but.
Okay, you see, so we have the comments going on that, well, sometimes you borrow dogs for competition and if they matted, what are you gonna do? Excuse me? What are you gonna do? You're going to demat the dog and you're going to put the dog that has no mats on the table to groom for a grooming competition. These
Well, you have the
excuses
choice. Yeah.
lately, and you know what, guys, you gotta forgive me. You know me, sometimes I try to hold myself back. Today I don't have any ability to do that. Unfortunately, my family is under fire in Ukraine. Both of my brothers, my niece and the 7-year-old great niece, are under bombing and fire. I haven't slept in 2 days. So my holding it back factor is on the 0. So don't give me an excuse of borrowing dogs with mats. Okay? Who's the groomer that's going in the ring? Period. I don't care. If you borrow the dog and you get the dog 5 minutes before you have to in the ring, do not go in the ring. Period.
Absolutely. Exactly. I totally agree. And the whole thing is, you know what, to be fair, I would not borrow a dog ringside anyway. I would want to get to know the dog a little bit, at least an hour or so. I want to put the brush and comb through the dog. And you know what? Like you said, if the dog's matted, then you probably, you should just not go in the ring. And also, if you're being charged for that dog, and they've given you a matted dog, shame on them. And if you're not being charged for that dog and it's matted, you then have the choice to say, you know what, I'm not going to do this. But to be fair, like when I worked with Sally, we used to supply so many carriers and so many dogs, and we would take them to the show washed and dried, and then they have the option to do it if they want to do it again. Um, but it's a competitor's job to understand if you're borrowing that dog, to stay in contact with that person via email, keep on getting photos of that dog, making sure. But if they're prepping it, I even would offer them, say, like, hey, do you want me to send you some money? I would rather you wash and dry this dog every week, so I know it's going to come to me impeccably in good condition. But like you said, if you go into the ring and then say, well, I didn't win because it was a borrowed dog that was matted, then you shouldn't have been in that ring to begin with. You should have said, no, I'm not going to do it. You know,
Then you're
and
not.
people that, you know,
Then you're
what
not
was I going to
serious
say?
enough about what you do. Okay, you just spend. At least respect your money. Okay, if not for nothing, respect your own money that you earned. You just spend about $1,000 to get to the show. Why would
Yeah.
you groom a matted dog and have it as an excuse in your head that it's okay, this is a borrowed dog? Me as a judge, I give it just a little bit of an advantage, just tiny bit. If the dog is borrowed, you know what? When I was competing, I would get to the cities where I don't know anybody. I'll find somebody online. They will bring me a dog that I would look at, and it was on the verge of not being competitive with the amount of hair or holes in the coat. But I would still take the dog, bathe, bond, groom, and usually I was pretty successful with that. So if you're serious about competing, you need to take it seriously. Period. That's
And
all I have to say.
also, what I've always said is and if anybody in the UK is listening to this, the one thing, because I know I always get put down because I'm always like America this or America that or America this, but the facts are the facts. Nobody presents and conditions a dog for dog shows or grooming competitions like Americans do, and I am a real finicky when it comes to, prep work, and prep work is back to basics. You
Of
have to
course.
understand you have to understand what breed you're doing. Does that breed need what kind of conditioning? Does it, like black Russians or Russian black, whatever you want to say it? You know what? They have to have a certain coat on them when they go in the ring. Kerry blues and all this thing. So when people prep dogs and they bring it in and then they give you some kind of excuse, it could be an ear infection or whatever like that. But then again, should that dog be in the ring to begin with? So there's many factors. But I always say, if it's just a dog and you don't think it's competitive enough, you'll be surprised. Or if you don't think the dog's got enough hair, you'll be surprised, because it's surprising how much you could actually take off a dog and think, how the hell did I actually get that amount of hair off that? But I think
Yep.
interesting. It's very interesting when it comes to competitions, and I think the biggest problem what we have in the industry right now is we don't have a big enough pool of judges. Because I know, for one, and I'm not saying, I think I'm kind of getting bored of people seeing me all the time. But we need to see more and more,
Oh,
more
have
a big enough pool of judges.
Look at me.
What's
I'm
that? What are
sorry.
you doing?
I'm cursing. I'm sorry.
I'm
I
like, what?
accidentally opened my phone and it opened up on our live.
Oh my
And I
God, it's
could
funny.
double hear you and sorry,
Oh, who
sorry.
wants to
It's
double
me
hear
and
me? No, so
technology. I suck.
it's okay. No, so basically, what I was saying was, like, we need to see. Obviously, I would never say to a person, like, I would never say to Lindsay Dickin, "God damn it, you need to be judging because you'll make one hell of a judge." Because if I knew I could go and compete and have a good chance of winning, I probably would too. But we need to see people like that in, like, judging, because I know, I'm getting pretty tired of seeing myself judging at all the shows in England or whatever like that. And I have to say this, and don't be offended, anybody, but I'm sick and tired of seeing the same judges judging in America too, because the same old people all the time. And I'm thinking, okay, So when are we going to get some different opinions here, or when are we going to get some different, And I don't want to. I'm not, saying it's a terrible, terrible thing, but I do think we need to see some fresh faces. So Lindsay, God damn it, get your ass judging.
Agreed over here, definitely. But we had a question. Um, this girl, I know her. She's one of the groom house friends. I mean, I talk to her all the time. She just started competing. She's in entry division, a newbie. She has a poodle, and she also competed, I think, with the Schnauzer once. So she's just starting out. So I know where she's coming from. The question is, if you get a borrowed dog, not borrowed, but rented, where you have to pay money to get a dog for a competition somewhere remotely, if the dog comes in a really bad condition, do you still pay the money?
Hell no.
Okay, thank you.
Hell no. No. I'm sorry, no. I mean, you know what? If I walked into a restaurant and the food tastes like crap, I wouldn't pay for that either. So no. I mean, at the end of the day, and renting dogs is not cheap these days.
No.
And people are charging 150, 250. If I'm paying 250 or 150, I want that dog to be in great condition, and I'm talking incredible condition.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Grown out, brushed out, nails done, even pets and privates done for that kind of money. Yeah, and if the dog is in really poor condition, I would not pay the money.
No, I mean, you know what? If it's, stole to rescue, I mean, rescue rodeo, you're looking at a different kettle of fish.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you know what? This is not rescue rodeo. This is competition, going for points and all this kind of stuff. I want a dog in tip-top condition if I'm paying money for it.
Absolutely. Well, I don't charge money if I ever provide a dog for a competitor. And my dogs come with sufficient coat, all prepped, demetted, clean, all ready to go. So, and I don't charge. And so if somebody's out there listening to us and charging money to rent the dogs out, I'm sure on behalf of competitors, I say thank you, because it is not easy to find dogs in some areas where the competitions are. And you guys who provide those dogs are a lifesaver for competitors, but please have them in good condition.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Yeah, we're grateful, but it's, you're getting paid. So
yeah, I think it's important because, what people don't realize, and that's a choice thing, but a choice thing is still important. For a person to be a competitive groomer and compete all year round, you're talking in the thousands when it comes to hotels, travel, rental of dogs, whatever it may be. And that doesn't even include taking time off your own job or your own business to get to these shows. So I think people are spending a lot of money, and you know what? It's important, but they do get the right kind of dogs. It's important, but they get the right kind of feedback. It's important, but they are going to, if they're going to educate themselves to be better, they need to have all them things, all them boxes ticked.
Absolutely. Any more questions?
Not yet.
Not yet, no question.
Ellen mentioned she pays $375.
Oh, $375 now. For a dog. For rent a dog. Oh, yeah. So even more, even better condition. It just went up with the condition.
Well, for $375, I would expect that. I mean, to me, okay, I know, Lindsay would know, Olga would know, all the people would know. When you go into the competing ring in champion level, with your talent, what kind of quality the dog has to be to match that talent. And then you will know your percentage chances of winning. The same judges judging in America. Talent. What happened there?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. I'm just being stupid.
I know, I can hear. Stop pressing buttons.
Somebody has to take this phone away from me.
I know. So
It's
Tina,
a
let me ask you a
13
question.
Pro. I really don't know what to do with it a lot. Like,
Take her phone away. So Pina, let me ask you a question.
yes.
So, because we've been talking a lot about this, when I've gone to certain shows and we have multiple judges judging the same class, I think to have two judges combing the same dog is ridiculous. Because, especially if you know that dog is unbalanced to begin with and isn't going to be in the run ins. I believe if you're going to have more than one judge judge the same class, there should be a combing judge and a profile judge. Like Hershey does, not that Hershey has one judge per division, but you're still allowed to look at the other divisions to profile judge. And so, and also we've got to think about timings here. How long is it going to take to judge a class if you've got two people combing the same dog? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Talking like a show producer.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, as show producers, I mean, to me, it's like, okay, if you're going to have two people on the same class, then you got to have it so it's like literally, okay, you judge that class. It's like me and Ronnie DeMunter, we were judging in January. And I said, instead of us both combing the same dog, you judge the hand strip, because that's what you're all about. I'll judge a purebred scissor, and then you look at my purebred scissor, and I'll look at your hand strip. And you know what? We came to the same conclusion.
It is a brilliant idea. A brilliant idea. And I tell you what, I totally agree with you on that one. 3 judges should not be combing the same dog. You know what that reminds me of? Well, but I want to have my own opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Egos. And you know what? You can have your own opinion, but you know what? To have an eye and look at a profile is just as much as an opinion as putting a comb on a dog. And quite frankly, I'm fat and my back hurts when I'm putting a comb on a dog. So I'm happy to profile judge. But I think we have to look at the bigger picture here and understand that dogs are on tables for a long amount of time. Yes, they have a break, but in some countries they don't. And we have to understand that, I'm not trying to dumb down what we do, but we all know as a judge, your top 4 or 5 probably before the class is over. So if you have a dog that isn't necessarily going to make the cut, I would much rather have the time to give them really good feedback, maybe give them a courtesy comb, but then say, we're going to do a cut and we're going to pick the top 5. And then we can maybe spend more time on them, because I look at competitions becoming more popular. And my only worry with that is it's going to start, and we've already got people over here, start questioning the length of time dogs are on tables. Is it natural for a dog to stand that much? Because we've got the force-free people and the consent-free people and all them kind of vegan people. So you know what I mean. So that, but you know what I mean. And I love all these people, but I do make fun of them when I say you guys are like vegans. But we don't want to go down the route of we want to be careful what we're doing. We got to think about the welfare, but we are going to have issues down the road maybe, and I think things can be sped up. Kathy Rose was incredible. When I watched her judge, she starts at one end of the dog, she finishes at one end of the dog, and it's done in 1 minute, and everybody gets the same look at, and that's perfect, and I think it's great.
I think I do that. I make a point to judge and comb the dog, the whole class the same way, the same order, the same amount of time, the same everything. And then, lately here, we only have 1 judge per class. So we don't have an issue of 2 judges combing the same dog a lot. It's only in special classes sometimes where Groom Ball in Atlanta Pet Fair in a couple of weeks. There's going to be, I think, 3 judges for each dog. And so I think we're going to kind of talk about it, and the judges could follow one, 2 judges can follow one and look at the way the judge is combing. You can see it, guys. We can see it. I can see a mat from a great distance with my eyes. I don't have to comb it most of the time, right? Sometimes we could have a hidden toe mat, yes. But most of the time, I could see the mat from a long distance. And judges do not have to spend 2.5 detailed minutes on combing every little inch of the dog, or combing the whole leg up and then down and then going in every... You can see it. It's not necessary. Which goes back to the issue of why would you make that dog stand longer than a dog should stand? And if you have a class of 15 people, and you spend 2 minutes extra on each dog, that would be what? 30 extra minutes. Those dogs have to stand on that table. Because if it was necessary, I'd be okay with that, maybe with the break. Barkley shows have breaks for at an hour mark, have about 10-15 minute breaks, which is probably great for the dogs. I didn't really like the breaks with my Cocker Spaniel because I couldn't even let him walk in the middle of the groom. If I could, it would be wonderful, but I just spent almost 5 hours prepping and everything. I would much rather put the dog on some kind of pads inside for him to go to the bathroom, but taking him outside I didn't like. But in general, in all reality, it's a great idea, right? To get the dogs rested. If you don't want to get the dog in the grass or in the ground so it get dirty, just, bring a towel, cool towel, just relax. Don't take him anywhere. Just relax. And I usually, when I judge, I try to judge, put my placements, and tell them to relax as soon as possible. And every competitor that's competing under me knows I would always tell them, relax your dogs when I'm done judging.
Exactly.
So, but, and again, the point is, both of us are judges. I'm coming from my experience, you're coming from yours. You don't have to judge for 2 minutes each dog.
No,
it's not necessary. And the fact that,
all I was going to say is, if you're a competitor, when I'm judging, let's just say we've got 15 dogs. If I'm judging that first dog, the 15th dog does not need to be stacked.
No.
You need to save that perfect moment of stacking the dog for when the judge is standing in front of that dog. And also, when the judge is judging you, walk around and watch them what they're doing. Because even though you might get that feedback, you will probably know from what they pull out why you haven't placed. But still get the verbal feedback. And it could be something simple like balance or symmetry, but you'll know when they comb. And that's from being a consistent judge, combing exactly the same way. They start the back legs, work the way forward, and the head or whatever like that. But watch what they're doing, but make sure you save that sweet moment of stacking that dog to when it's really necessary. That's when you're stacking it for the judge, not when they're up there.
Yeah. Well, there was a question from Pammy, who's from your neck of the woods. She's asking, there she is. Can we have a judge's mentorship program? I would love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
You know what? There's been Denise Westbrook wants to start one. I want to start one. Sally Hawkes wants to start one. You do. Obviously, Pammy would. Maybe we can do an international one, because I feel like the best way to get a good batch of judges to pick from would be to also educate them. So obviously show organizers have their judges which they hire. Maybe a person could be an apprentice or a shadow judge and they do that at Hershey too with some of the some people from China have done that where they've been a shadow judge and all that kind of stuff. I think it's a great idea, but we really do need to have education. I put my hands up and say, you know what? When I judge some classes, I get the book out and I look up on the breed standard because I'm not quite sure. And I think
Absolutely.
that's just human. We're human. We second guess ourselves, and I want to make sure I know what I'm looking at. I really do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, AKC, our kennel club, confirmation, at every specialty, regional or national, we have judges education seminar. At everyone.
Yeah.
I think we should all probably get together and think, at least think about what we can do about that. I saw Intergroom is doing a Rising Star mentor grooming competition category. Do you think more shows will do this? I just registered for Super Zoo for the first time. Congratulations, exciting. And that seems like it would great first time ringside competition would be probably a great first time ringside competition, meaning Intergroom, from what I understand, right? Talking about Intergroom? I think so.
Yeah.
I think it would be, it was only done once, I believe, twice at the most, the mentorship competition. So what happens is competitors groom their dogs and they're in the ring at the same time, all breed. They get, I think, 3 hours of grooming. Maybe a little less, but it definitely is more than your regular competition. And your judges are also your mentors. So they can go through rows of grooming tables and you can ask a question, I believe, and then they can come and kind of mentor you on based on what you're doing right now. They watch you groom a certain breed and they could come, okay, so I would do it this way, right? Let's say your shoulder is just a little bit straight. Why don't you put it down a little to 45? I mean, suggestions, mentorship as you groom in a competition. Now, here's my opinion. I think it's a wonderful concept for somebody who's just starting to compete. That year I was there, I had my students competing in that mentorship class. Some loved it, some absolutely hated it. And I wasn't in there myself, but I've heard arguments from both sides, and I could see both. Because a couple of mentors in that competition grabbed the scissors and groomed half the dogs for the competitors. That is not mentorship in the competition ring. That's another form of ego, if I may say. Yeah. So if you are mentoring, which is an amazing concept, yes, watch. I've been instructing and teaching people how to groom for over 15 years. So I kind of know how that's done. You watch somebody groom closely, and then if you see a really important mistake being made, and you have the right by the rules to come and do it and say something, that is absolutely amazing. But you do not grab that groomer's scissor and re-groom the dog on stage where this person is supposed to either place or not place. It's a competition. So don't let your ego go over the mentorship status. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So the concept is beautiful, except it needs to be done right in practice.
Exactly. Verbal teaching as opposed to like a workshop, that would be different. In a workshop with no placements and you're literally paying to go to a workshop, then the teacher can actually pick up the scissors and do things. But in a competitions type thing, it should be a verbal, you're watching them doing something and you're only stopping them when you see them doing something which is not right, or you think there could be a better way or an easier way to get the same look or whatever it may be. So it's like advice kind of thing, not me saying, look what I can do, you know,
Oh, yep.
and all that.
You just put it in words, correct? I'd also like to see, that's also from Pammy. I'd also like to see a standardized judging sheet so that competitors are being judged fairly and equally. What's a
Yes.
judging
So
sheet?
that is,
Can you explain to me?
Like a scorecard.
Hmm?
Like a scorecard with very specific things to be judged by.
yeah.
Oh,
So
score
I think what she's,
system? A score
yeah.
system?
So I think what she's saying is like a sheet with actual feedback where maybe the competitor can get it back. Now, you know what? I get what she's saying. I judged him. However, and there is a big however. That's only because I'm dyslexic, and I mean, I can't even read what I wrote yesterday, and I'm like, what? So, but I judged in Belgium, and we had to give feedback sheets back, and I'm thinking, oh my god, here we go. So I'm writing as really nice as I possibly can, and I get that. What I would love to see, and maybe Pam is thinking about the same thing. First of all, I would like to see a silhouette of a generic dog, maybe a Labrador. And on that Labrador, you can circle or put dots on exactly where you know that person has to improve on. And then have boxes which could be 1 out of 10 for prep work, 1 out of 10 for technical. We'll talk about my shitty clipper work in a minute that Pina judged at Intergroom. And so a person can see exactly where they do need to improve on, because I think it's important that a competitor has something to take home with. Some competitors are too shy to come up and get feedback. Some judges are too busy because they're judging the next class to give proper feedback. So I do believe it would be good to have some kind of scoring sheet so they could actually take home with them. And you know what? If a judge is getting paid to do a job, then we should be expected to be okay with that. You know?
No, absolutely. I'm okay with any way of judging the show wants us to judge by, but again, the critiques are important, very, very important for a competitor, especially at the lower divisions. And if we had
Yeah.
time, this takes time. You agree with me?
Yeah.
This takes a long time. To sit and write a critique for every competitor on paper, we usually don't have the luxury of that much time at the grooming competitions. So
That's true.
we probably need to also think about, we open for suggestions, guys. What do you think we should do? Everybody who wants a critique needs to get a critique, but if you're too shy, like Colin says, which is totally possible. I mean, you're a famous person, you're a celebrity, somebody could be, and I'm not joking, somebody could be really shy and think, oh, maybe Colin's unapproachable, or people think I'm unapproachable more than you. But I am, I promise. You can always come to me and get a critique.
Always.
Always, and
Unless I'm
always
hungry.
Colin.
Unless I'm hungry.
Unless Colin, then you come to Colin with the hot dog. Right
Oh,
off the
and
bed.
make sure it's got the relish, the pickles, the ketchup, the full lot.
The whole thing.
Literally, and with a side of fries and a Diet Coke, I'll be your best friend.
There
I
you
will love it.
go.
But yeah,
There you go.
it's important. You know what? It's a little bit like a dog show. You would never go up to a dog show person and ask them advice right before they go in the ring, and
Oh no.
especially if they've got a face of thunder coming out the ring. You wait until, especially if it's a bench show. Bench shows, did you call them the same in America? You do, don't you?
Yeah,
A
yeah.
bench show with a dog, yeah. So if
Yeah.
you go to a bench show, after they get done with the ring, they're all sitting outside their benches having a cup of coffee and cake. It's the perfect time to go up and ask for people ask for advice. Asking breeders for advice, because breeders will give you the details of that breed, which makes it that individual breed. So, like on a Bedlington Terrier, for instance, on the side of their face, when you come to the corner of that eye, you want to make sure from the side you show a triangle. That is a very intricate little thing, which not a lot of people do. And it's just one little thing, and I'm sure they have it on the pummies and the Russians and even the poodles. There's certain things which can set you apart from everybody else, and normally it's the breeders, because they've been in the breed for donkey's years, what can tell you them little tiny things, and that's so important, and it will make your job more fun. It will give you that kick up the backside to do better. And also, believe me, on certain breeds, a judge can come along and say, I know exactly what I could do, which will either go in either direction for this dog and that groomer. And hopefully it's for the better, but sometimes it's not. And but it's as much the competitor's job as it is the judge's job to make sure they're up on that breed standard.
Absolutely. And you know what that's called? That's called attention to detail.
Yeah.
And
So
so,
shall we go back to my poodle now? Okay, so I'll tell the story to begin with, and you can finish it. So I fly to New York for Intergroom when it was back. It was always at the Sheraton Meadowlands. Then they had it for many years, and then they went back to the Sheraton Meadowlands, and I love this hotel. So I went back with some friends of mine, and I wasn't going to compete. And so I go there. I'm in the bar, and I walk up to Suzeka, and she says, I've got a poodle upstairs with like 16 weeks or whatever months of coat on it. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. And she goes, why don't you do it? And I'm thinking, oh, really? That means I've got to get up at 3 a.m. I've got to go to that grooming van. I've got to be like, grooming the dog with sleep, dust in my eyes. But what do? Yes, I'll do it. I'm an idiot. So I go to Suzeko's room at 3 o'clock in the morning. She doesn't look too hot at 3 o'clock in the morning, by the way, just to let you know. And she's going to kill me. She looks lovely. And she hands me her dog, and I'm thinking, oh, oof. Take the dog to the Best in Show van, which is incredible, by the way. Thank God they had such a thing. Washed and dried the dog, take it in the ring. Now, the dog was in a Miami, so then I had to take a dog grown out from a Miami into a whatever pseudo German trim, and it was very pretty. And Pina was my judge, and I'm thinking, oh god, I've really got to impress her. So I'm thinking they don't look at clipper work. Nobody looks at clipper work anymore. I just quickly clean that face, quickly do some feet shaving, and put this beautiful body on the dog, which I did. And Olga beat me with a little Bichon. That, ugh. And I said to Pina, can you give me some feedback? And what did you say to me, Pina?
I said, oh my God, that's a beautiful profile and gorgeous scissor work. But what the fuck happened to your clipper work?
It was awful. It was shabby. It was nappy. But I didn't think people looked at that stuff anymore. It was 2000 what? I don't know. But yeah, so I respected the fact I knew my clipper work was shoddy. Knew it. Thought I could wing it. But hey, Pina being so short, she's practically at the same height as the feet. And that's what she said. She goes, "You have such a pretty outline, but your clipper work was so shitty." And I respect that. And I think it made me understand when I judged, but I looked at clipper work a lot more, because clipper work was always my nemesis, mainly because on a Bedlington, for instance, oh my God, you can cut a Bedlington so easy with a pair of clippers around the ears on their flaps. So I took that onto other breeds, thinking, oh, I don't want to cut it. And also my OCD about time. Quickly get that done and then make it look beautiful, which I did with shitty clipper work. So Yeah, thanks. But it was right. It was,
Hey,
you were dead on. You were bang on. So that's good.
freestyle
So that,
judging. Can we talk about freestyle judging?
yes,
You
absolutely.
know what I find when doing freestyle? I find that if I'm doing more Asian fare, some judges constantly want not give me group because my legs aren't parallel. Like, well, duh. Yeah. Well, judges that want Asian style legs to be parallel don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah. And just for the record, I gave an Asian style dog reserve best in show in England here because I was judging it on Asian grooming, not on parallel lines and stuff. Now, this is something very interesting because I said to Todd, Todd, you're missing a big boat here. When's on Sunday when you have the creative dogs going on the top row? Why are you not having an Asian fusion class? And you know what? Maybe if he watches this, he will say, "God damn it, maybe I should," because he's missing a big thing here. Because we've actually been discussing this in a Zoom meeting last week. When you have Asian grooming, what do you say when it comes to the rules? Well, the Asian dog in Asian grooming has to have an Asian style face. You cannot just do a round face and get away with it. That would go into workshop or salon freestyle. But I said to Todd, you got Sunday, all these creative groomers, and then you have people like Lindsay, Pina, Veronica Frost, all these groomers which would probably compete on a Sunday also in Asian class and have it where they can put, I don't know, 10% color or maybe on the feet or maybe because I remember Judy Breton asked me a question about coloring. And yes, we allowed some color. You don't have to. But Pammy had a competition over here. My Asian fusion class at Master Groom had 28 dogs in it.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's huge. So, and to me, it's really hard to judge an Asian fusion dog with a beautiful face with its head up in a big bow compared to a multi-poo with just a basic round head. Maybe, and I think that's where the multi-poo should be in the salon freestyle and the Asian dog should be in the Asian dog class. So hopefully America, which I'm so surprised because you guys are normally savvy and in front of the run-ins on everything, you guys need to get with the program and have an Asian class.
I am
Very
so,
much.
you're taking the words right out of my mouth. So I wanted to say, Sarah, hopefully these classes are going to be separated. Hopefully that class that it's now called, what is it called? Salon freestyle.
Salon freestyle, yeah.
Maybe we can call it, if I feel like if you're not doing something Asian or extreme in salon freestyle last couple of shows, you aren't really competitive. I cannot agree with you on that one though. But let me finish my thought. So maybe the salon freestyle class should be called commercial, just like it is out there in Europe. So in commercial, you can do any kind of dog or mix in a very practical, stylish pet trim on any kind of dog that will go out of your salon. You get paid and it's the most beautiful pet trim you've ever done for a competition.
Yep.
Asian should be a completely different class, judged under completely different rules, because symmetry, balance, all of that should probably be definitely in the commercial class, but all of that could go out the window in your Asian class. Correct? So, and the color, a lot of people want to put color in dogs, and I understand that. That is adorable. But in the commercial, I don't think there should be any color, but in this creative class, there could be color and bling and lots of different things, not to the extent of the creative competition, but decorational stuff, totally. And so I really do think there has to be two different classes and two
Well,
different judges, maybe.
You know what? Me and you are judging in Michigan next year, aren't we?
Yeah.
So me and Pina are judging in Michigan next year. So we would talk to who's the lovely man? Sorry, I forget his name.
Nick Sklar from
So
Whitman's.
so we can talk to him about maybe adding the Asian fusion class, because you know what? When people say, it's not balanced or whatever, it's not balanced compared to a dog with parallel legs, but a full class of Asian style dogs is balanced to each other. So you are judging still on balance and symmetry on that particular style. And also, it's not just about the cuteness. They can look absolutely stunning, and when done properly. So, come on, United States, give the program. Let's have some Asian fusion classes. And Todd, for God's sake, why aren't you doing it on a Sunday? Because you can make some money. And I know, boy, you like that money, girl.
No, but you're right. Maybe we can talk to Nick and start with that at the show in Michigan last year. Next year.
I think what we need to do, and the show organizers work their butts off. I mean, my God, let people realize to put on a show doesn't only cost a lot of money, but it costs a lot of dedication. So I am so on board with praising the people like Barkley and Whitman's and Judy Breton with the Atlanta Pet Fair and Ann Stafford before that and Jerry Schimberg with the All-American. My God, what they did to give them shows longevity is just amazing. However, we need to move with the times also, and we need to make things always relevant. And I would have to say, when Pammy, for instance, wanted to go overseas to learn Asian grooming, a lot of people in England said to her, "Oh, don't be so stupid. Why would you want to learn that? Just learn, just get your city and guilds." And I'm like, you know what, Pammy? Screw that and screw them. If you want to go abroad and if you want to be different and learn something, damn it, you go for it. And you know what? She did, bless her heart. And she came back to England and she made Asian what it is today in the UK, which is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of being relevant, Instagram and social media, Instagram is our app, isn't it? What were you going to say, Nina?
Helen had a question about the Asian parallel lines.
Who did?
Helen. I got it one second.
Helen. Oh, there you are. Would you want them parallel on the inside, though? Kind of like a European fairy look? No, not necessarily. On Asian, no.
A European fairy look? What is that all about? Is that Helen Schaefer?
Helen Schaefer, yes, in the house.
Oh, my Helen, girl. What are you talking about? European fairy.
No.
Flary.
Flary.
Not fairy.
Okay, so to me, you know what? Okay, so when I was in Australia doing Pooch Perfect, we had a guy from Japan and they called it Asian Pop. And you know what? He was explaining to me that Asian is the interpretation of the person. Yes, it has standards, but then you can put your own twist on it. So if Helen's saying, can it be flary on the outside and more parallel in the middle? On the inside. You know what? Yes, I guess it could, but
it's going to lose an essence, I think.
It's going to lose the essence because your round foot on the outside, think American Cocker, for instance, it's going to come into the inside, and something's going to happen there. So I think you probably, to answer your question at this point, maybe no, or maybe a modified, slightly parallel but still belling out. but let's go with no. Maybe Pammy can say what she thinks. I would say no. I'm looking at Asian fusion pictures on my wall, and that's not that one. And they all have, and they're all Pammys actually. They all have belled on the inside, belled on the outside, and that could be done properly when you stack your dog also, and also with the correct coat type. If you're doing a poodle with
No,
a really good coat
you're
type,
forgetting rules of Asian. Well, yeah, I don't want to call them, yeah, maybe rules. There's no standard though, in my opinion. Standard to me is when you go in the book and read a standard for a particular breed and it's the same for all of them, right? There are general rules. Yes, I guess Pammy is right. I'm trying to find the wording. General rules that guidelines.
guidelines. Hey, there you go.
Good. Awesome. Good wording. Guidelines. So those guidelines will lead you
Guide.
to get to the essence of an Asian look. So if I want to put a bell-bottom leg on the Maltese, I can shave the body to all the way to the elbow and make the bell-bottom foot, or I can stop higher and then take the chest off and make the bell-bottom foot, or I can shave half the leg and have the bell-bottom foot on half the leg. Do you know what I mean? It's guidelines, not the rules. There's variation to the guideline, but you all have to get to that Asian essence, general look.
Yeah.
Pammy said it's the aesthetic.
Exactly.
The aesthetics, that's Pammy. Pammy said aesthetics of an Asian. Yes, that's a good word too. So guideline aesthetics. But see what I'm saying? You can get to the same essence or Asian look with different variations of technical stuff.
Absolutely.
You can use
you know what the actual fundamental, in my opinion, the fundamental essence of an Asian style dog is obviously a tight jacket and flared legs, because they put the tight jackets because they are famous about putting clothes on their dogs, and the tight jacket fits the clothes. Then you got them beautiful flared legs, and obviously you got the face. I mean, I judged a girl in England, and she said to me, "I'm going to do Asian," and she did this dog, and I didn't place her, and she goes, "Can you give me some feedback?" I said, "You did flared legs and a teddy bear face. Where was your Asian face? The essentials, the fundamental, the actual essence of that trim is especially in the muzzle and in the expression you're giving that dog. Does the expression, does it fit that dog? Or should it have had a bow, or should it have had not a bow? All these things which you can look at, which is on the groomer's responsibility. And you know what? Then you, as a judge, you look at that and say, my God, they've done a really good job, and it really has balled out the dog's eyes and make it look good, blah, 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 blah. And you cover all them things. And but once again, absolutely, please, guys, let's get Whitmans to have a separation class for the Asian in Michigan. Yay!
Yeah, Lindsay just said, well, it's like pirates. Do your thing, but respect the rules. You're right. You're right, Lindsay. Do your thing, but respect the rules. Yeah, Lindsay, right?
Is that Lindsay Dickin?
No, Emson.
Lindsay Dickens just joined,
okay,
and
exactly,
everybody's
yeah.
telling her she needs to
That's
start
right.
judging. Lindsay Dickens just joined, and everyone's telling her she needs to start judging.
Oh yeah, Lindsay just joined us. Lindsay, you need to get your ass into a judging situation.
Really. I mean, come on already. You know what? This girl is like. I was talking about her when I was judging this stuffed dog. All that pretend dog, fake dog.
Model dog.
Thank you.
Fake dog.
So I'm judging this model, and I said to this girl, "There's this girl in America called Lindsay. She turned this damn dog into a Clydesdale," and I'm like, for God's sake, and when I look at people with talent and I'm seeing them. And you know what? But like I said, when it comes to competition, if I knew I could compete and stand a really good chance of probably winning, I probably would. But we do need to get people like Lindsay in the judging because we need to see fresh opinions, fresh, feedback, and a fresh outlook. I mean, you know what? Because of the complaints I've had from Americans, and obviously I've got the mouth and I got a big mouth, is I'm tired of seeing the same judges. We have the same problem in England. They probably have the same problem in Europe. So we've got to look at the problem or the issue, and we can, doesn't mean to say we've got to get rid of a bunch of people, but maybe we can bring some fresh people in.
Lindsay just said she keeps on saying, as soon as she wins Best in Show at Hershey, she's done and she's ready to judge. So fingers crossed.
Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, well, you know what? I will be there in Hershey this year, and I'll be watching that, and I'll be like, you know what, girl, bring it on, because I have total respect for everybody. And one thing I will say, and this is another little controversial thing, when people, I believe that when people want to judge, they should judge first entry for a little while before they judge which one was once their peers. But let's just say, for an example, me and you are in the ring, Pina, judging, competing. I retire, and next month I end up judging you. You know what? I think in the scheme of things, it's great, but I think a person of that caliber, Lindsay, you, me, whatever, is better off teaching these young ones something first, and maybe a few champ classes. But you know what? I go back and forth with that whole idea, because yes, we should understand that we are fair judges, but I have to also say, you know what? Do I believe that there has been crooked judging in the past? Absolutely. We'd be stupid not to think there was. Do I think it happens a lot? No, I don't. Do I think it happens still sometimes? Absolutely. But I think it's one thing where yes, we trust the people we have judging at our competitions. But sometimes I think when you retire from judging, maybe you should start with some entry levels and some open classes, or I don't know, maybe you could disagree with that. Maybe you could enlighten me on what you think.
I'm not sure. See, from my point of view, the way I judge, I don't see who's behind the dog.
No, you don't.
I don't know who the hell is behind the dog. So, yes, of course I see people, but it really does not matter to me. I judge dogs. So if I just got out of the ring and I'm now are able to use my knowledge, my eye, to judge, period, then it doesn't matter to me whether I competed with this person that's behind the dog 2 months ago. I'm judging the dog on the day.
Yeah, you are.
So it's perspective. Let's not talk about that. I'm not in the mood about talking about that. Perspective on how people see things. You know what? There are competitors that if they lose, but at the same time they thought they were going to win and they should win and they don't, turn around and say that a judge is crooked. Dude, don't leave anything for a judge to be dumped.
Absolutely. You know what? Absolutely. And also, I have to say, I have been placed first place before with a dog I should never have placed first place. And I believe...
Me too!
Maybe, I think it may be because the judge has not been a seasoned judge, and they're like, oh, Colin's doing this breed. He's won the last 4 shows, so he must know what he's doing. And I've had a real shit day, and they've placed me first. And you know what? That sometimes is more... it's embarrassing to go up and get an award with a dog. You're thinking, holy crap, they placed me first. But hey ho, I guess. And then sometimes I think maybe I should have placed. But you know what? If I don't place, I just say whatever. There's always going to be another competition, and also if you have a bad if bad sportsmanship is in your blood, then you shouldn't be competing in the first place
Yeah,
because it's about
but people don't know that.
no, they
People don't
don't.
know
No,
if bad sportsmanship is in their blood. They start lying, they get emotional, they get angry, and they have to blame somebody but them. That happens out there. I see
yeah,
it, and it's a reality. Of course, nobody's going to name any names, so don't even ask people out there. We're not naming any names. It's a general problem situation out there. If you did not place with the dog and you went to the judge and asked for critique and you stand there like this, oh, really? Then don't get in the ring and don't get for a critique in judge's face. If you're coming for a critique, please come for possible knowledge,
yeah,
not
exactly.
for, yeah, let's see what you have to say about my perfect haircut here. Oh, really? Come on. Don't come for a critique if you have that attitude.
Yeah,
We had a competitor years ago that came to me once and asked me personally if they are good enough to be in the competition ring. And my question was, how do you mean good enough? Technically, skill-wise, absolutely. But you do not have the right attitude to compete. So this is the point where your skill and your level of grooming, technical stuff, does not matter. It stops being the most important thing when your attitude and your ego is not in the right place. It's a healthy competition. It's supposed to push people competing. They're supposed to push each other to be better, not to be bitter. And what is happening lately, not 100%, I'm not going to shit on the whole industry, of course, but I see it more and more. Why? I don't know. Not uneducated opinion of your work without being realistic is what's going on out there sometimes, from time to time. And then it's the judges are crooked, judges are political, it's judges. Have you looked at your dog? Do you know where it all comes down to? You being able to groom a dog.
that's
Period.
right. Exactly.
There's nothing else.
Yeah,
Being able to
yeah,
treat a dog right and groom a beautiful groom, no matter what it is. Purebred dog, mixed class, Asian class, it doesn't matter. So if you groomed a half-assed dog and you thought you were going to win and you come to the judge for a critique and you get a critique and then you get pissed at it, you shouldn't be in the
yeah.
competition ring.
Well, you know what? Can I tell a funny story? And first of all, you know, Stephen, my Bedlinson in America, was my partner in crime. And I have to make sure people always understand. But when you do amazing work on your dog, that dog has done amazing work for you. And
Absolutely.
it is just as important as you are as the groomer. Now, years ago, I was at Intergroom and I was Intergroom. It was when Vivian Nash had the group judges, and Lisa Leedy lent me this really cute toy party poodle, right? Black. Right. Oh dear Lord! And this is a prime example of when you wake up in the morning and you feel like you shouldn't compete. Don't, right? So I wake up, I'm like, oh God, you know what? Whatever. I can't be bothered. Can't be bothered. I go downstairs, brush and dry this little toy poodle, lots and lots of hair, and I take it in the ring, and I'm grooming the dog, and I groom it. I'm like, in my brain, I've got this perfect image of this Kerry Blue, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I started doing it. Then halfway through, I kind of change it a little bit, and then after, I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. So the judges came in and backed away, and all my dog is like surrounded by this judges. And when and I'm standing there, and when they all parted, and I saw my dog, I'm like, "Who took my dog away?" And the dog I did was beautiful. This dog's terrible. Who did this dog? And Vivian, I didn't place, okay? Didn't even get an honorable mention, thank God, because I don't like them either. And Vivian come up to me outside because I'm sitting there, not moping because I'm thinking how embarrassing that was. And she said to me, "Was you smoking crack or something? What the hell happened in there?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I do not know what happened. I have no clue. All I know is I did this beautiful dog and you guys all combed it and it was
It messed it
terrible."
up.
And that's because it was terrible. It was a shit show. And you know what? But I laughed. It was so funny because when I woke up in the morning, I didn't care. I didn't have butterflies. I wasn't nervous. And I love butterflies. I love being nervous because it gives me drive to do what I want to do, regardless in life of what it is. And it was funny because, and there's been times like that. There's always been times like that. And when I did my Bedlington and I won the grooming games in Hershey, that dog was overroached. Was it overroached and bad enough for that time of year, 2001? Probably not. It probably was great. But when I groomed that dog again at Intergroom, I groomed it because I knew Christine Pulowski was my best in show judge, and I knew Julie Oskowski was my class judge. I totally changed the trim on that dog. I totally took the roach down to how it should be. And I got first place, and then I got best in show. And I knew that Christine Pulowski wasn't going to be doing me any favors at all. And if she gave me best in show, it was because I deserved it. And I looked at my dog and I'm like, my God, that's how a Bedlington should be groomed. So I've always been very critical about my shape because we always have an image and we always go into the ring with this image. And it happened in Burbank too when I competed with my poodle, and I got best in show with this poodle. And Barbara, I beat Barbara Brickell. I shouldn't have beaten Barbara Brickell. Her dog was beautiful. My dog was a train wreck, but thank God because I needed to pay rent, and I needed rent money. I'm thinking, shit. If I don't win best in show, San Francisco's too expensive. I ain't gonna be able to afford it. But anyway, so thank God I won. But the funniest thing was they have the winner's circle, and you know that because you won it. So I had a Bedlington. Barbara had a poodle, and Marnie had a Wheaton. And Marnie was all sharing a room. And me and Barbara like, yeah, I'm gonna win. She's like, I'm gonna win. She's like, no. And I thought I had it in the bag. She thought she had it in the bag. And it was when they made you do the walk, and they would say to the right was you made the top 6. To the left, go cry a river. So I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, whatever. First of all, I cut my dog's ear, okay, but I stopped it real quick, and I told the judge. I'm walking towards Kathy Rose, and she's like, this way, and I'm thinking, oh shit, didn't make it.
The wrong way.
Like, yeah, whatever. Barbara's laughing, and then she walks up. She didn't make it either. and then Marnie, she wins the whole damn thing. So while Marnie was being all quiet, she did it. And you know what? I think we need to celebrate the joy of competing because, my God, I remember back in the day when Terry DiMarino was competing, Kathy Rose, Melissa LaPlank. We all, Liz Paul, Julie, we all had so much fun. And when I come over to America, I love it because I see the family that you guys have all created, Lindsay and you guys, and all the groom team people. I think it's a beautiful thing. And yes, we've been controversial tonight, But at the end of the day, I celebrate the industry and what it's become because it's absolutely amazing. But it doesn't always smell like roses, and sometimes we got to bring out the shit to not to always bring it up, but to correct things what could be changed for the better.
Listen, we wouldn't be doing it today if we didn't absolutely love the industry we're in.
Oh, of course,
I wouldn't
of course.
be I wouldn't be doing this at all because to me, it's not that I don't care about being relevant. I don't care about being out there, people seeing my face. That's not the reason I'm doing it. Really is not. So I could sit here quiet and not be anywhere saying anything to anybody, not teaching anybody, not taking knowledge from somebody, not sharing anything, and groom my dogs 3 times a week, make my good living money, and shut the hell up. The reason we're here and talking and going out there and trying to share the knowledge, trying to support groomers that really want to do not just competition, whatever they want to do in this industry, then we wouldn't be here. We obviously love it. And that's why some issues need to be addressed and fixed and
Of
then
course.
make the industry better. And that's all we want. That's all I want. That's all you want. I know that.
Can I just bring another suggestion up? So I've been thinking about this also, but I got a message the other day from a groomer who's very new in the industry, and she said to me, Colin, why doesn't Groom Team have a mixed breed division? And I said, you know what? As much as I want to just say to you the answer that everybody will say to me, because we only have 4 of the purebred classes, I'm thinking, you know what? It's not a bad idea. And then I went further into thinking maybe the mixed breed could be the wild card that the groomer that goes the substitute, yeah, maybe
The alternate.
the alternate, maybe the alternate groomer. See, I'm terrible. I lay in bed with my brain like, ooh, what could happen? What could happen? And but maybe the alternate could do a commercial class, because if a commercial dog should have parallel lines, then obviously, and believe me, I've seen some Labradoodles with incredible profile and some, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just putting that out there into the atmosphere, into the universe, because to me, yes, we got our purebred scissor, our stripped spaniels, our stripped hand strip class, and we've got our poodle class. Why not have a wild card, and say your alternate does the wild card, and it could be a mixed breed, or it has to be a mixed breed. That's just me putting it out there.
Definitely wouldn't hurt anything, I don't think.
No, because
But it's something to think about for sure.
Yeah, and you know what? I think with Groom Team, you know what? It's like, I mean, Groom Teams are incredible, and I think it's everybody's end goal. And I know, but we've introduced something at Master Groom this year that Melanie Winters developed, where the biggest problem in competitions is seeing what class a groomer should go into. So we've developed it where she has the Golden Scissor Award, where you have to win 3 Golden Scissors first places before you move up to your next division. And then when you get to your champion division, then you're crowned Supreme Champion if you get 3 Golden Scissors. She's still developing it as a really good scheme, because let's face it, your show organizer gives you the trophy that you win, and then you go after your Golden Scissor Awards also. Plus, it would make sense to keep people in the divisions for as long as they can, because I remember, I don't know if it was Terry DiMarino or somebody, or Kathy, when I competed in America, they said, you want to stay in your division for as long as you possibly can, because that's where you're going to gain all the education and all the experience, because it doesn't do anybody any favors to be bumped up to the next division after 1 first place, when in reality, they, just like you said, when you withheld all the awards, if you had judged me and I did a crap job, but you gave me first place because it was the best job out of the worst, and then you moved me up to the next division, I'm going to be there forever, not winning nothing.
It has
So it
to,
just makes,
it just has to
you
have
know,
merit. It just has to have merit.
of course it does. Of course it does.
And just the fact that you are the only one in class, or there's only two of you in class, that somebody's judging, it's not automatic first and second place. I don't believe in
No,
that.
it's not.
If
No.
there's no
Yeah.
merit to that groom, it shouldn't be automatic, is what I'm saying. But I mean,
Yeah.
there's rules out there. You do have to follow rules. But it is, if it were up to me, I would not have those rules. I would have one big rule right across the whole freaking thing. Has to have merit to the groom, and after that, there are the placements.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. You know, and also I think people, and I think this is not, people don't have to be told this, but obviously when you're in entry level, you can get away with a lot more when it comes to standard, not prep. Prep should be still good. But
Yeah.
when you move up, you're starting to move up to your champion level, your dogs have got to, your dogs have got to look like a champion level dog. You know, you can't take a poodle which has wise eyed enough apart you can drive a bus through the middle of it. You have to have a good dog with a good coat and so on and so forth. And I think that also comes down to me telling people, if you want to compete, you either go in right, you just go right into the deep end and compete, or you go to shows, you watch, you learn, you see how it's run, and then you go for it and you try and find a dog yourself, or you rent a dog. I know Melissa Beplank, when she was competing, she would have her dogs in foster homes, so she always had dogs to compete. And that's another way of having dogs. You don't have to have them in your own house. You could foster them out.
Here's my, yeah, I've been saying it lately. You gotta be serious about doing this. You can't just come and half-ass a grooming competition, especially in open division. You gotta get serious. But we have a question. Can we have a question on the screen, please?
Yeah, we're gonna go in a little different direction here.
Uh-huh. Okay, so here's the question. Can we talk about what should qualify someone to teach a class? Oh, yeah, that.
Oh
I
no.
see I see so many seminars online that are being offered from people that have never placed, have never shown that breed, but we have a generation of groomers that will take it for gospel because they have a huge following on social media. You had to ask that, right? Yeah, I'm actually glad you did. You know what, Colin?
Oh God, exactly. I know. Do you want me to start it, or do you want to
We'll
start?
start because I have to go for a second. I need to use the restroom. I really
Right.
do.
Don't you smoke?
Oh, I
Okay,
will
so
smoke if I have an opportunity, but I don't think so. I don't know. Let's see. Please
she's
talk.
pulling her pants. I saw her pulling her pants up. She's rolling. So so regarding people doing seminars, and I'm going to be very diplomatic here because yes, but I will say this
It
also:
turns him off.
a person is allowed to do a seminar regardless of whatever education they may have, because it is the person who is buying the ticket who is going to find out whether that seminar was worthwhile going to or not. Now, I will have to say this, and you can shoot me dead if you want to. I would much rather spend money on education than spend money on giggles and laughters and all that kind of stuff. Because you know what? I can get that anywhere. And I want to, if I want to do a poodle seminar, I want to learn how to groom a poodle. So I'm going to see Anders Russell in a couple of weeks. And I know I'm going to have really, really good education with him. We're going to have a few laughs too, and he's going to have a sense of humor, but it's mainly going to be back to the subject, and I'm going to learn from it. With social media, there's many people that have incredible followings because they are very, very good at social media. And I have to commend them and say, well done. However, if I was going to put my hand on my heart and put my hand on the Bible and tell the truth, I'd have to say I believe that we have lost the art of earning our place as speakers and as sometimes judges and as people that run seminars and take people's money. But on the other hand, I have to go back to what I said before. It's the people who are spending the money. You know, you can't tell them, but they're wasting money because then you're called a bully and you can't recommend. So, you know what? Is there a big influx of people educating that really maybe shouldn't? Yes, there probably is. No, not probably. Absolutely. I'm not going to backtrack on what I've bitched about for the past 5 years. There absolutely is. So I think what you have to say to yourself, you know what? People will learn. People are going to go to a seminar. They're going to say, shit, I've just wasted $100 or $150 on a person who's just been joking around and, you know, acting silly or doing whatever. Or, you know, when I and when Pina comes back, she can give her. Comes to online seminars, the good thing about them is they're a lot cheaper sometimes if you're doing webinars. And I was just saying, Pina, but obviously, if I was to put my hand on the Bible, and I can't backtrack because I've been complaining about this for many, many years, but I do believe we've lost the art of earning your place in the industry to be a speaker or to run a seminar. Or if you're going to do a poodle seminar on a continental, you better damn well know how to do that breed. And to every single intricate detail, like I was telling earlier on about breeders knowing that. If you want to learn how to groom a Bichon and you came to me, you're not going to get a Lindsay Dickin or a Pina Bichon out of me. You're going to get a bog standard salon Bichon out of me because I teach pet grooming. But I know if you went to either one of those guys or Melanie Newman or Rich Smith here in the UK, you're going to be taught how to do a Bichon and do it well. But I will say, if you're going to go to a specialist seminar, do it because you want to be a specialist in that breed. Because there's no point in wasting money on seeing a person create this beautiful Bichon and you leave thinking, what the hell did they do? I forgot. Do you know what I mean? So, but also, if you're going to be doing a seminar and taking people's money, you've got to give them value for money. And you better, you know, we've become an industry where somebody's got 2 first place and all of a sudden they're a multi-award winning groomer.
Well, some people teach without even, some people teach without even first or second, a couple of placements in the competition. But here's, and Helen Schaefer just brought up a really good point. Some really amazing groomers are not talented teachers.
Absolutely true.
And otherwise. Some people can be entertaining and get people's attention, but the pure, dry educational value is not there. So it goes both ways. Now, here's what I think about it. We're talking about following on social media, correct? There's some people that have huge following on social media because they know how to make good content. They're great entertainers. Some of them are amazing groomers. Some of them are not. But here's what I think. People that are groomers with huge following that in general don't have enough credits or credentials or real down-to-earth skill to teach something technically. Yes, they should be influencers, right? But their content could be just that, influencer. You could motivate people to learn more. You can tell them your experience on, okay, so here I am. I didn't know what a dog is 10 years ago, and then I came across this groomer, or I came across this social media influencer, and I thought, okay, this should be interesting. And I started getting my sources. I went to school. Tell the story. That is huge for groomers, especially that are starting their career. And then as a young influencer that has a real value to you, yourself, sit there and say, okay, there is this master in a Bedlington Terrier trim. Don't come to me for that. Go to that person. If you want to come to my class on how to be an amazing influencer, then come to my class. Then, okay, here's something I can do well, which was kind of certified and approved by my industry, and this is what I can teach. So what I'm saying, really, I wish people knew their place, took that place, and make the best out of it for our community.
So yeah. You said it way, way nicer than I did. And you're absolutely right, because I think there's some people out there that, because we don't have motivational speakers, so many in this industry, and I think people that are influencers could be really, really good at building people's confidence, making them feel
Right.
good about themselves.
Absolutely.
And that means that they don't have to be. And but Helen's right. Believe me, I've gone to some incredible groomers and done seminars, and they've literally been either painfully shy, not being people at all, and just I call them showboaters. They groom a pretty dog, make it look beautiful, but you haven't got a clue how they got from A to B.
Right.
And you know what? And I think that's important. Luckily, you know what? I mean, like I did a seminar today, and it was really, really funny because we're talking about influencers. This one girl said to me, "I'm coming to your conference in November. Do you know why I'm booked?" And I'm like, "To see Pina?" She went, "No." "To see Lindsay?" She went, "No." I said,
Gabriel.
"Okay, you're a female. You've come to see the pretty Brazilian man, Gabriel." And she went,
Yep.
and I'm like, I mean, and what makes me love that Gabriel, I have to say, you know what? The man must have something wrong with him, and we have to find it. We have to make it. We have to make it a mission. We have to make it a hashtag what's wrong with Gabriel mission to find out what's wrong with him, because he smiles and lights up the room. He talks and lights up the room. He shows his art that I can't do it on me because I don't have the arm. He shows the muscle and lights up the room. And he turns the dog into a giraffe. He turns a damn dog into a giraffe, and these little Bichon monsters, which makes me want to get a Bichon and have it as a monster, because these like little kind of what they call them, whatever, doesn't matter. But you know what? To me, he's an incredible Instagrammer. He's an incredible influencer, but he's also got somewhat the whole package. So we need to find out what's wrong with him.
Well, talking about package, he just came on stage in Groom Expo West in Superman costume, and the whole internet was talking about his package. So he comes on stage and he lights up the stage with his package. But jokes aside, though, I love Gabriel. You know what the prettiest thing about him? One single prettiest thing about him is the way he's humble.
Absolutely.
That is the prettiest thing about Gabriel. All of that is, yes, it's there. And he can actually groom a beautiful dog. And he can actually have a confirmation background from where he was little boy. He was a junior handler. So all that is there, but how humble he is in real life is the prettiest thing. But anyway,
Somebody said a Spider-Man.
a Spider-Man, I'm sorry, not Superman, a Spider-Man. Yes, you're right, you're right.
Spider-Man. Oh,
Yeah, it
Spider-Man.
doesn't matter, the package is the same.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, I just saw him at the show. He's just as humble as he was before all this, fame from the show, and yeah. But, anyways, so I have a question for you, Colin.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about getting all these retired old bitches that are bitching out there, including me, you, and a few more I can think of, and
Sally.
yeah, put us out there and have a competition between us. So at least the young influencers could maybe see that we could still groom and I don't want to curse, but we can still groom. Okay, I'm just gonna stop at that.
You know what? Absolutely. I mean, I literally had a message. I made a comment on Facebook, as I do, and the person who the comment was about put a message on their Facebook, and they said, basically, well, the word for word was, "Why don't I go back to doing TV? Because that's all I know how to do. Because I can't groom a dog out of a paper bag anymore because I've lost all my talent." Now, to answer that question would be, my seminar dogs are not great dogs, but if I was given, or if I rented, or if I bred, or if I owned the best dog with the best coat, I could give anybody a run for their money.
Absolutely.
And you know what? It comes down to, there is a lot of things which I'm not good at, and I will put my hand up and always want to learn about that breed. But I think it's a good thing, and whether it be a competition or whether it be like when they did the celebrity rodeo in a groom, and it was a fundraiser. But what was their name? I just want to. I should have won that. Damn it! You were my judge. You were my damn judge too.
I was.
Remember, I did that dog when she wanted to bite me, and I put it into the Portuguese water dog trim. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
I wanted to punch you in the face. I did, but anyway, that's besides the point. No, but the whole thing was, it was for fun, and I think. But then again, I think maybe we take the fun out of it and we really go balls to the wall and say, "This is what I can do."
I say balls to the wall because that competition, you guys had rescue dogs.
Yes.
Nobody, and it was a great thing to do, to clean them up and groom them. It was fun. It was wonderful. Most of those dogs got adopted, which is the most important part about it.
Absolutely.
But I say we all did it for the dogs. How about we all do it for us, balls to the wall, to show everybody that we can still groom. And so we eliminate those messages that you can only do TV and can't groom anymore. Okay, sometimes competitors should be able to see that their judges could still groom.
Can do. Absolutely. I totally agree. And you know what? Because I didn't compete in an era where spray-ups were in. So when I start judging dogs with spray-ups, and I got into trouble at a show because that guy from China, I thought he did a beautiful job, and but he'd already put his dog's head on the band. Whatever.
That was a technicality, man. It was a technicality.
Yeah, but you know what? But at the end of the day, I want to know that I know a good spray up for embarrassment. Now I can tell you this: I've been around cars, Husaka, enough in America. And some of them, and some of the Martin at PCA, Big Tall Martin, Crazy Martin, to watch people and say, okay, I know exactly if I push come to shove, I can do anything.
Right.
Now, give me a cocker and a 7F blade, I can do anything. You
Yes.
know, but
That is exactly my point, Colin. Know your worth and value,
absolutely, that's
and
right, exactly.
yes, build on that and teach that. But in
Yeah,
order to do that, first you got to be humble. If you're not
absolutely.
humble, you're not going to clearly see those things. You really
Yeah,
are not
yeah,
going to see
that's
those
right.
things about yourself.
Yeah,
It's not real. It becomes not real. And we have
yeah.
to keep it real out there. We really do. People want to be
And
our
also,
bucket bitches.
I gotta say this: what
Thank
is
you
the
guys.
fun? What what is the fun of being given everything on a silver platter when you haven't climbed up that ladder? Because when you've climbed up that ladder, your life has been amazing. When I can look at what I've done in my life, lived in Hong Kong, lived in America for close to 20 years, met the best groomers in America, been taught by the best groomers in America and around the world, that ladder I've climbed up has been worth every single step. But when you're given to it on a silver platter, you haven't got to do that shit. Don't worry about that ladder. Don't worry about that because you know, don't worry. I will put you at the top of the ladder without doing a damn thing, and you'll be loved by everyone. You know
Yeah,
what?
but it
That is a
doesn't
dream
last
come true.
long. But it doesn't
No, it
last
doesn't last
long.
long.
The energy
No.
exchange is universe. And
Yeah,
a person cannot change that.
yeah,
If you didn't have that path to get up there, and it went like this, that's how you're gonna kind of fall. Look at
yeah.
Omicron, same shit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I call it Comic Con, but they're like, no, it's Omicron. I'm like, you sure it's not Comic Con? They said, no, that's where they go dress up like Spider Man. But but when it comes to when it comes to that, totally forgot what I was going to say.
That's okay.
You was talking about what?
I was talking about Omicron, how people go up real quick and
Oh,
then they
yeah,
drop the same
yeah,
way.
exactly.
And you always say it's not good for you. I could give two shits, but it's not good for you. It's not going to last long. If you are not planning on staying in this industry for long, totally fine. You can do that. But if you want
Absolutely.
this industry, and if you
Yeah,
want this to be your industry, your family, it kind of has to go,
yeah,
and
exactly.
then you can
Well,
stay.
well, you know what? The funny thing was when I did Pooch Perfect Australia, and it came out on TV, and I did all in my power not to read the comments about what the competitors. When the competitors went home, I'm like, Colin, you're gonna have it from all ends. Just don't read it. Well, that's really the English version. We went through media training as judges and everything. The Australia version, we went through a crash course in media training, especially when it comes to when people ask you questions from the press, what kind of answers you should give. But to get feedback from people, in my opinion, whether you went home in the first episode or whether you made it all the way through to the end, you should use that experience to your best of your ability, and not, because obviously you beat so many people to get on the show, and but I saw such a difference in the show, and I love seeing what people have done with their experiences to date, from the Australian one, from the English one, from the American one. It's been very interesting because people do, for the groomers, I mean, my God, you can capitalize on it incredibly, incredibly, and you know what, do very, very well for yourself.
Yeah.
And like Gabriel, like other people have done, and it's been lovely to see. But I mean, I had a comment when we sent somebody home. I had the worst message in the world. I am evil, I'm horrible, and I just brush it off like it's okay. It's okay. Because you know what? It's too bad for that person because they could have made it, they should have just
A
capitalized
learning
on the experience.
experience.
Don't take it personal. Do not take, especially TV. Do not take it personal because if you know about TV, then you will know that depending on whether the show is a prize-winning show or not a prize-winning show, then you will know exactly how the show goes.
Not even.
And you know what?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I'm sorry.
important.
It's very
No, I mean,
important.
yeah,
And yes, TV is one thing and is a competition always, and there's always a script. Is there or
absolutely. Of course
there's
there is.
not?
Absolutely.
Of course. There's always a script. But I'm going back with just what you just said to a grooming competition ring. Do not take it personal. It is
Absolutely.
not personal. No one is
Yeah.
personal. And if you think there's a biased judge who could be personal to you, do not compete under that judge if you know for a fact. Now, our industry, I never believed and I still don't believe there's anything political in our industry. It's not political. The competition is not political. It could be bias sometimes. And it could get personal sometimes, but it's definitely
Yeah.
not political. I mean, in years that I've been in the industry, I only know a couple of instances that probably came a little close to being political, but still not really.
Yeah.
So don't take
Exactly.
it personal. I mean, look realistically at yourself and your work and see if something needs to be improved, which there's always something to be improved.
Always. And
Me,
you know what?
you, anyone out there, there's always
Exactly.
something to be improved in. So don't take it personal. Go there to have fun, just groom a dog. And if anybody's my student out there, they know I say that like they get nauseous and sick from listening of me saying that. It's just grooming a dog. What
I know
is
that.
what is
Yeah, but you know what? Yes, but you know, I am one who suffers from sickness, terrible diarrhea. I take Imodium, and I'm like, oh my god,
I
I'm a
have
drama
pills
queen.
for you.
Okay,
I
a drama
have pills for you always.
queen. I got my blood pressure machine, my checking my pulse. But you know what? I have to say, that was years and years ago. Now I teach people to relax. When I judge, and I love judging novice people, I want them to feel comfortable around me, around their dog, around the atmosphere of the show. That's very, very important because they're going to be the future of the industry. And that's important, but we realize that. Them babies out there are going to be the ones which we're going to watch grooming when we're in our mobility scooters and Zimmer frames.
Hopefully
I mean?
hopefully it doesn't get to that point.
I'll be
Yes.
like, Peter, I need changing.
And
It's
me
okay.
in wheelchair with the cigarette.
No, there'll be you in the wheelchair with the cigarette and the oxygen tank. And there'll be me in my adult diapers.
rolling.
Rolling. My rolling adult. It's a horrible thing. But you know what? The one thing, I don't know how much longer we have, but I do want to touch base.
We got 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. Anxiety, guys, and mental issues. It's a huge thing. I just want to say about social media. When you see a dog on social media, and it could be somebody's best groomed to date, realize with that person who has groomed that dog, they could suffer with really bad panic disorder. They could sit in the living room with their curtains closed, with whatever. Understand, but saying something, you can give them a good critique, but you know what? Pump it up, make it positive, because you know what? We need to make it a little bit more. If they're proud of their groom, allow them to be proud of their groom. Don't knock them down for it.
Inspire, but don't miss the need to be improved parts, because without it, there's no education. So it really needs to be
Absolutely.
a combination of two things. You do have to teach people if you have the knowledge to share, and inspire them at the same time. So we don't cut their desire to go next into a next competition, but instead make them excited to go in. Now we
The
have a
shit
couple.
sandwich.
The shit sandwich, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and there are, I want to start with Groom House, which is educational platform for groomers that I have been close involved with and collaborate with Groom House, Nina and Tone. I think they're doing a beautiful job. Wonderful. It's very affordable. There's so many things that you can learn by just going to this platform. Next, we have Jess Adorno. You know who Jess Adorno is?
With the dogs flying, the dogs with the hair flying about everywhere.
Rona.
That's Jess Rona.
Oh yeah, Jess Adorno. Who the hell
Is
yeah, hang
is
on.
the Mohawk lady that scissors really, really fast.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Paparazzi.
Oh, Jess. Jess, the New Yorker.
The paparazzi, yes, the paparazzi pets.
Paparazzi, that's right. Exactly.
She is the one that is gonna go on Groom House and have a live webinar on the 21st of this month. And I am really excited about her coming up, which she's gonna show how she scissors that fast and makes that dog look really pretty. But I want her to inspire. I want her to give people that confidence. Business owners, just groomers, how easy it is to actually professionally fire a client without insulting anybody, without becoming a bitch, without becoming a rude asshole. I want people to know how it is to raise their prices without having conflict, and be confident when you do that. How not to be afraid to lose a client because you raised your prices. How, if you lose that client for that reason, you're going to get two more the next day that are going to be willing to pay more.
Absolutely.
Groomers have an issue with that, and Jess is really good about that. So if you guys are listening, tune in 21st at 6. Was it 6?
It's up
6
on the
o'clock.
site. You can sign up now.
It's on the site already, so you can sign up now if you want.
She should call that seminar Bye Felicia, because that's exactly how I feel. When I got a customer who has a problem, see you later. It's okay. But
Yeah.
thank you for having me, Pina.
Oh, I love you. Of course. Absolutely. I love the talk. And I'll see you in May. Finally.
I love you a lot.
Finally.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Thank
Love you. Thank you,
Bye.
Colin.
You're welcome. Ciao.
Ciao.